Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to start off with the SB Spark Awards. So SB stands for Exceptional Student Performance this year. This award is given to students who do well academically and have an exceptionally positive attitude about school. They demonstrate respect and responsibility towards staff and their peers. They show courage by not conforming to peer pressure and refuse to accept anyone who bullies. The school board and the district want to recognize these students by celebrating their success at the beginning of each board meeting. Students will receive a certificate, and your name will get entered into a drawing for a nice prize at the end of the year. It's been an iPad or something like that in the past. So Jim Gorley is going to be handing them out tonight. So if you hear your name, come on up and get your award. And then at the end, we'll have all the kids come up and get a picture for the paper.
So don't sit too comfortably. So I'm going to call these off, starting with the high school first. Max Plump. Max here.
I think he's
Gavin Grego. Mason Rosa. Olivia Sullins. Mitchell Crockrell. I spent time trying to figure out that name. Audrey Davis. Kevin Moore. Austin Bedford. Right. See that. Jackson Unigard. Candace Sinclair. Alina McConnell. And last is our charter schools, Shiloh Nico. Nico or Mecca?
First one.
Raven Moore. Raven Monroe. Okay. Good job. So, you need to come back up.
Yeah, we get all the kids back up here.
Come up here and let's form right in here. Yeah.
You guys all kind of stand on line, all of you.
Kids in the back.
Everybody face that way.
All kids in the back.
The newspaper likes a picture.
There you go. Sheets on three. 1, 2, 3 sheets. Yeah, one more time. 1, 2, 3 sheets. Great, thank you. Good job.
Now, we do recognize this is a school night, so you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, or if you'd like, You can exit and we won't be offended, so.
This is usually the mob to the door. You just start making the administrators sit up front.
Well, yeah, I was just curious what all you administrators would do if they didn't leave.
I wouldn't say administrators didn't leave.
All right, we don't have any late items to add to the agenda tonight, so I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and Mary seconded. Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll move on. Audit report. Kevin, turn it over to you.
Thank you. I believe we have Brad Toronto, who is our lead auditor with Polly Rogers here virtually. So,
I do, yep. Hi, Kevin.
yes, thank you, Brad. And how about what I'll do, I hope all of you already had a chance to receive the financial statements and audit report. What I'll do, I'll just kind of go over some highlights and then turn it over to you. If you have questions for me or for Brad, this is a great time to ask them. So just kind of a high-level overview, we have a one-page summary, the summary of the summary. First of all, the auditors issued a clean opinion on the financial statements with no reservations. Second, the financial picture for the district is healthy. And third, if you look at our outstanding debt, I'm going to kind of pick on our board chair, J.C. Reddick. It is now at its lowest level since going back to before you were even on the school board. And I think you're approaching 2 decades. So overall, a bright picture for the district. And so with that, any questions that you have for Brad, definitely a good opportunity if there's anything that you would like to add.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say that you guys are in fantastic hands. Your business department at your district is phenomenal. We ask for a lot of info and documentation during our audits, and everyone is a joy to work with. Yeah, and just thank you. You guys are great. So if you have any questions for me, I'm more than happy to answer them.
In the past, Kevin, we've had not issues, but things come up with student activity funds and things like that. Are we moving past that or better?
I believe there were no written findings for either the junior high school or the high school this year. And so, credit to the people doing the thinking at our schools as well. So, yeah, so I'm encouraged.
Any other questions?
Is the 21.6% increase of general fund revenues primarily from the debt being decreased?
It's not from the debt. The debt is accounted for separately from the general fund balance. And so this is the 21.6% is the percent of the ending fund balance divided by our total revenues. And that is actually, I would say, too, over the past 2 decades, it's at its highest point. Part of that, really a large part of that, though, is by design. Over the past few years, we've had one-time federal ESSER funds, and those have to be completely spent by September 30th of this year. And so in preparation for that, we've been attempting to build our general fund ending fund balance so we can maintain staff and programs into the future. So that really is by design that we build it as high as it is. And it is higher than it's been at least in 2 decades right now.
But Kevin, the ESSER money isn't included in that general fund balance?
Correct. That is separate money that's accounted for as a special revenue fund that we have to spend down. And so, yeah,
Like you're spending it down so that you're not spending the general fund money that you would spend.
I would say there are 2 things happening. We are spending some of the ESSER money on things that, like the really great reading and some of the things that has been presented to the board, on some of those things that we may not even have been able to do in the past. But in addition to that, it's helped us to be a place where when we have something that in the past, the general fund would have been the only option, we can pull it out of ESSER instead, which has allowed us to keep a higher general fund balance. But keep in mind, after September of 2024, ESSER goes away, and so we're going to be entirely relying on the general fund again. Really kind of determining here, not just statewide, but nationwide for school districts. They kind of talk about this kind of cliff, this fiscal cliff that's coming up as districts no longer utilize ESSER funds, and they're going to be entirely dependent on general fund for their spending. And so what we tried to do is not hire a lot of staff and add programs that pay for ESSER that we would then have to shift into the general fund, just because if for districts that are doing that, they're going to have to be looking at probably some pretty sizable cuts, and that's what we're trying to avoid. And I might turn it back over to you, Brad, because you're dealing with a lot of the school districts, but I think what we're dealing with here is pretty similar to other school districts.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. We're showing it statewide. With the ESSER leaving, a lot of districts are in the same position. They're pooling funds in the general fund in order to be able to pay for these programs in the future, or without the ESSER funds. But you guys are in a fantastic position to do so. Sounds like, or it looks like to us that you guys have planned this out well. And yeah, good job.
So Kevin, we purposely tried not to make promises, long-term promises with that ESSER money that we would then have to cover from other monies, right? I mean, we didn't hire extra staff and stuff based on that money in the short term that we knew we wouldn't be able to keep in the long term. That's the way I understand it.
Yeah, you're right on. I say when it comes down to school district finance 101, never use one-time money to pay for programs that you want to sustain in the future, because if you try, it's going to hurt. And so, yeah, that's what we're trying to avoid, is having programs that we want to sustain in the future with one-time dollars.
It doesn't hurt that we have a lot of buildings going on.
As far as facilities, we do plan to spend some of the ESSER funds that are remaining on our Oak Heights project this summer, along with the seismic grant that we have. We're going to be making other security improvements, and also trying to just improve the overall school learning environment. We do plan to use some ESSER dollars for that too, which is good. That's something that's definitely needed. It's a one-time expense that we can use $5 for.
Chair, yeah. Kevin is very modest, and he's quick to point to others, the folks at the junior high bookkeeping, high school bookkeeping, and all of that. Kevin, he's been here for a very long time, and what we're seeing is a master at their craft. You will continue to hear, excuse me, you will continue to hear in the news, the papers, etc. Other districts are really grappling with staff cuts, the fiscal cliff, all of these, declining enrollment, all of these things, like it's just all of a sudden this perfect storm that popped up. You're not hearing that here. You're hearing that we got a clean audit, which is what I not really jokingly tell Kevin I expect each year. But we're in really solid position. So just think of that as we go forward and as the new budget messages come out and surrounding districts and across the state, across the nation are really facing some hard times with negotiations, with the cuts. Some districts did put a lot of the funding into positions. And so now they're in a position where they can't support those. And you're not going to be seeing that here. So we're in a really strong position. And I just want to point out Kevin does a really excellent job for us.
Huge area there, I would say too, there are always storm clouds out there. FERS is always a huge storm cloud for us. Enrollment is a storm cloud. And so there are always things that we're trying to watch and see what's approaching and try to be prepared for that. Because, as much as it's nice to hear that, I would hate to be 6 months from now telling you we're having to make budget cuts. So, thank you.
Kevin, just to piggyback on that, you make our job a whole lot less stressful because you maintain a tight ship and you keep things rolling the right direction. And I've been there, a few of us have with the storm clouds. We know how hard it is, but you are very much appreciated with the direction that you lead financially.
Well, I want to say too, Brad, it's great working with Polly Rogers.
Oh.
So.
Thank you, Kevin. It's our pleasure.
You got here, I think, within a month to do field work for next year's audit, and so we'll see what that brings. So.
Yep. We'll see you soon. Yeah, you guys are fantastic to work with. It's our pleasure, really.
And I want to know too that really Brad works for the board, and so if you guys do ever have concerns, you can reach out to Polly Rogers. And I would encourage it, if there is a reason why you think so, I would encourage you to do that. That's, they are working for you as the board. So it's something to keep in mind.
Well, I like that our general policy and your principles are live within your means. And I think that in a small district like this, where we don't get to go out and grab more and more, we only have what we have. That's a really good philosophy, to very grounded to start out with. I appreciate that.
I would say that too on that. If both our licensed and our classified unions align, because really labor makes up a lot of our expenses. There are times where we're in a big financial position. There are times where we're not in this good financial position. And it's nice, I think it's sweet to see us all on the same page, what's best for our kids, rather than see some of the things that we see in other districts where, it's great when you hear Steve come in and, it's done first, and then when Delman's here, it's the same thing. And it's neat to be able to work with this for that case.
All right.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys are in great hands. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Kevin made a great segue. Wilma? All right, Steve Thorpe is not here tonight, so. All right, student report. Student representative, would you introduce yourself since you're new this evening? And
Absolutely. My name is Shirley Gibbs, I'm the representative, and I'm the student representative tonight. I'm going to do a program on what our student festival is currently. So currently currently sports, we have been doing really well. Our swim team, wrestling team, we got first, second place. Our cheer got second, and this weekend we have girls wrestling and gym states. We also have our basketball senior night that we're playing, where we recognize not only our regular basketball team, but also our unified. And so I think that's going to be an exciting event. This Wednesday, we have a sports assembly where we are going to congratulate our winter sports season and give them kind of a round so they also want to state. Our class boards are also in the middle of community service projects. Each class board has picked a problem that needs to be community, and they're going to be telling us. So I'm pretty cool if you have questions or our students as a way to encourage spirit attendance, we also decided to forward spirit points based on attendance rates for each class, starting from 20, 30, 40, 50. That would be a third weekly as a way to count students and justice to spirit.
Any questions? Great, thank you, appreciate it. All right, we also have a visit from our ESD this evening.
Hello, my name is Nancy Griffith, and I am entering into my 4th month as assistant superintendent at LBL. This is my 5th year, but usually, right? First, want to just say I so appreciate your district office staff. It's just been a pleasure to get to know Kevin. This is first year. I've actually worked with you, but Terry and Juliet, and yeah, they're just great. So I just want to say that. So thumbs up on hiring their superintendent. You have in front of you just some basic data. Oh, before I go to that, I'd like to introduce Jean Wooten. She is your representative on LBL's board. So just, again, some basic data from the ESD comparing Sweet Home with the rest of the region. And then on the backside, service data, the services that we provide to Sweet Home, also in comparison with the rest of the ESD, and then the ESD staff that are serving your district. There was never a script. I was like, what do I say? And they're like, just go, it'll be fine.
What type of programs that are maybe a little bit different that you had to change? You have some of the ways that you provide the programs.
So what I can say is the Student Success Act has allowed the ESD to actually build a program in the 2008 or 9 when everything crashed, and the ESD with the superintendents decided to lose the curriculum department. And so when the SSA dollars came through, we started rebuilding. That was why I got hired, actually, was to help rebuild the curriculum strategic partnerships. And so we've been able to do a lot of work for staff, not for students, because that money doesn't allow for direct contact with students, but we've been able to work on curriculum and social emotional learning and mentor. One of our, I think, greatest successes is our mentor teacher program. So that's something that we've changed in the last couple of years.
Any other questions?
Can you explain that on the first page there, that under the district executive summary word, it says districts are able to transit up to 50% of their available tier 2 resources. Can you explain that bullet point to me? I don't quite understand.
So thinking that Kevin can probably explain it better than I can. Would you? That would be great.
Sure. We can kind of menu of services that we can utilize for the ESD. So I mean, currently, we have like a speech language pathology
family support liaison.
Family support liaison, different services that the ESD is providing to us. We could choose, let's say that we have our own family support liaison, behavior specialists, all the speech pathologists that we need, which would be great. It's probably unrealistic right now, but if you know someone that wants to become a speech pathologist, great, be able to do it.
Yes.
That, we'll hire them and we'll compete with the ESD, but for what you're talking about, is saying that we don't need all of those services, a portion of that amount that's allocated, we could receive, my understanding is it's a payment from the ESD. Currently, we're actually buying more services from the ESD than what is allocated, so we end up right now actually writing a check to the ESD difference, and it is possible that we just need to cap that much.
I see.
Yeah, and as an example, if a district wants to do something that the ESD doesn't offer, for example, we decided that attendance services, we couldn't fiscally maintain them. And if Sweet Home had someone that they wanted to have as an attendance officer, they could actually ask for some transit money to be able to help support that, because we don't offer it. So that would be something else that.
So we can pick and choose, like you said, a menu, so it's not an all or nothing deal with the ESD, that's okay.
There's tier 1 services, which the superintendents all get together and agree upon that this is what is going to be within tier 1, and then tier 2 are the.
So like elective,
Kind of,
elective
yeah.
services.
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
The good thing is that you, like with blind services, speech, stuff like that, one year you have 5 students.
Right.
And the next year you have 1 student. So you're able to either pick it up, build it up, or take it down, and that's my ESD.
Makes sense. Appreciate the clarification.
Yeah. I'm happy I could answer it, right?
Right, any other questions?
Right.
Go ahead, Terry.
Each year, the ESD will present to us in this format. And so this time next year, we'll start to pick up on those things that kind of roll forward. So next year, we will have the ESD here as well. Just answer any questions that you may have. Like tonight.
Board of representatives, each school board has a representative for the budget.
Yes,
No,
from the zone,
for the zone.
yes. So Jean is in Canyon, Scio.
Yeah.
and so
But I don't,
forth, so.
Jamie and I are certified. We don't have anybody certified.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, next we have the superintendent's report. Terry, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. On our attendance, this past month's attendance winner is Hawthorne again. So congratulations to Hawthorne.
You have to get above 90% for the trophy. This month is 88%. So they had the highest attendance in the district with 88%. 90% for February. And let's see here. We also have the attendance report. It's about the 3rd page in the packet. 131-24, 2,301. As compared to last month, 2,296. And going back to 21, 2,108. So again, we continue to see, the numbers are going to bobble a little bit, especially in the middle of the year over the winter break. But we came back strong, and we continue to see strong enrollment, which is positive for all of our programs. So questions on either of those? Okay. Two of the things happened just recently before we jump into our outstanding achievement. I heard Friday night it was quite the dance at Oak Heights, and a real hit there was Kinder's doing Baby Shark. Yeah. Kinder's doing Baby Shark, and actually Hawthorne tonight had a math night put on by their title program. And lots of, it was very well attended. They were doing math activities. Folks that came in got math activities, pizza, and the kids that were leaving, they were going out with board games. And so lots of happy folks there. So, good
How
stuff.
late did that stay? Was that on?
Through
6:30.
6:30. Okay, next, for outstanding achievement, Darren Perry is going to share Foster.
All right. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I can show you a lot of data. I'm a data guy. I love to look at it, but I thought it'd be better to look at how it's happening. So this is Foster pursuing outstanding achievement. So in any one of the given classrooms, you could see it set up this way. Sixth grade, it would be something like this, all the way down to, I'm doing kinders just because they're cuter. And so we have our kinder class here, and in a typical class, you will see the teacher giving a lesson. In this particular case, it's about sounds and phonics, and she'll do it for the whole class. But then our teachers work really hard because they are basically creating 4 lessons at a time, because shortly after this lesson, they break up into groups. And what this allows them to do is really, dig into where the kids are. Down here where the kiddos are working on computers, those programs are allowing them to work at their level, and if they're doing well, it levels up, but if they're struggling, then it gives them more practice at that skill. So that's what those kiddos are doing, and it could be either an iReady or the really great reading program that comes with that. And then when in the middle, we have our main teacher working with the kiddos, and they're working with their boards there, and learning how to spell and learning how to use the sounds to create the words. And they're actually using the really great reading stuff to build the words, and it's very hands-on, very kinetic. And then in the back, you can see one of our Title I teachers working with kiddos that they just need it again. So she's going through the lesson that the teacher gave before, only giving them a chance to interact with the lesson and kind of dive a little bit deeper into it. Like I said, this could happen in any classroom. You could see it. Here's the second grade classroom using the boards in a small group. And what I liked about the really great reading program is that they use a lot of kinetic learning. They're moving. They're sounding them out and counting out and spelling it out, and then putting it to their chest, and it's really involved. The days of Dick and Jane Run are over. They get really, the movement in there keeps them engaged. It's been proven to keep them, involved in the learning. Some of our teachers, like Ms. Neuschwander, it's a whole body experience. They're actually spelling the words. It's hard to see this little card right here, but that's the word that they're learning there. So they're sounding it out. It's a new word that they haven't learned before, so they're going through the full body motions of spelling the word, and the short vowel sounds or the long vowel sounds. And it's really working well. This is showing the typical growth. We're about halfway through the year, so we should be here at about the 50% range. And in our reading, we're actually ahead of that. We're actually up at 63%, which means that we're ahead of schedule as far as getting through the skills that we want on average through all of our classes. The problem with having really good instrumentation, though, and iReady, is that when you see that you've got an emphasis in one place and not as much in another, it shows. But here's our reading goals here, just to break it down by grade. And as you can see, second grade is a little bit behind, but not much. But fourth and fifth, they've already hit their goals, and now they're moving on into almost like the cream and getting ready for the next grade up. But we've known this as a district. It's no different at Foster. We're really into reading, you know. I'm an old math guy, you know. Reading's important, but math is importanter. A little bias there. But we've really been emphasizing reading, and it does show a little bit. We're still falling a little bit behind in our math areas. We're not quite where we want to be there, but the beautiful thing about having iReady and the teachers getting more comfortable with it and reading the data, and the kids getting more comfortable with it, is the data is getting more believable and more reliable. You know, you could have a whole set of kids crash just because they didn't know how to use it. So now we're getting to the point where we can see that, and we can see that, yeah, we knew that we weren't emphasizing math as much. We just didn't know how much. Now we're seeing it. Now we can see where we're at. So this is one area across the whole district that we know that we need to start looking at and drilling down a little bit more.
Do you have that first through sixth, Barbara?
I do, yeah. You're talking for the math or the,
Yeah,
or
for
the
math.
reading? Yep. So, and you can see that in some of our grades, it's even quite a bit lower. But most of them are about where they're supposed to be. Fourth and fifth are still a little bit behind. Our sixth grade team, they've always been very, very interested in having our kids ready for junior high. So they do put a heavy focus on making sure that they've got the math skills ready for Mrs. Stevens when they go up to the junior high. And it shows because they're already, on average, above where they need to be as far as sixth grade level goes.
And this is from the iReady diagnostic?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a mid-year?
What's that?
Is that the mid-year?
This is the mid-year spot. Yep. So yeah, we need to help our second, fourth, and fifth catch up a little bit, but the rest of them, they're, you know, we're getting there. But that's one thing we want to look
Is
at.
the
Yeah.
curriculum that you're using in math in line with the iReady?
Well, if it were, and if it was synced correctly, okay, we should be right at 50. So that's something that we need to look at because, you know, our teachers are doing an outstanding job of building the lessons and teaching the kids, but it doesn't have them quite prepared at this point. So now we can dig into the smaller pieces and go, okay, so where is it that our curriculum isn't quite getting them prepared? And we can drill down in there. And like the really great reading helped us fill some holes in our reading curriculum. Now we can start looking at the math curriculum and saying, okay, at each level, where do we need to backfill?
How does this compare to last year? Do you guys compare?
Oh, absolutely. And it's a little bit higher, but it's about the same. It really is, yeah, it's about the same. But like I said, we're just really starting to get comfortable with iReady and looking at the data. So before it was real easy to put, you know, it's not very reliable because kids haven't seen it before, the teachers hadn't seen it before, they don't know what it all means, and we're finally getting to the point where we're more comfortable with it. Any other questions? All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up, you have a sheet from Brian, our Student Services Director, and he brought to us the Unified Champion Schools. If you haven't had a chance, this is really good stuff.
Like Terry said, I'm Brian, the new Student Services Director. I can still say new, right? That whole rookie thing, right? The first year, if you make a mistake, it's rookie. How many people have been to a Unified basketball game? Anyone? Okay. We just started Unified basketball at the high school. The concept is half of the players are IEP kids, half the kids are kind of really anyone, but mostly National Honor Society kids. So We had our first game about a month ago. We had an assembly game. Anybody have the assembly game? Is that the game? Okay. We played a 2:30 game. All the students were in the gym. And if you've never been to a game, there's nothing like a packed gym, band playing, cheerleaders, and anytime someone scores, everybody cheers. Kind of amazing. Were you at the
Oh,
assembly?
yeah, that just sounds exciting.
What did you think?
No, I want to go. I was gonna ask you when's the next one because I missed it and I knew it was happening, but I didn't see it in the paper and it.
They're actually playing at Philomath tonight.
Okay.
And then we end in a couple weeks. We play a tournament at Oregon State, so it's all day, kind of a state qualifier. But yeah, in my 35 years, yeah, best thing I've ever been a part of. It's just amazing. So we'll show a video clip here. Actually, you want to play that, Josh? Yeah.
I'm John Best, and I'm the head coach of the Unified Basketball team here at Sweet Home High School.
My name is Kelso Ellis. I am a student here at Sweet Home High School, and I'm a partner on the Unified Basketball team.
Hello, my name is Gavin Gardner, and I'm a partner in the Unified Basketball program here at Sweet Home High School.
The first time I heard about Unified Basketball was earlier this year in the fall. I had to honestly kind of look it up to see what Unified Basketball was.
Well, previous to working for Sweet Home, I worked for the Fern Ridge School District. I was athletic director and assistant principal at Elmira High School. And working with the Sutherland athletic director, he said, you know, if you ever get a chance, you need to start a unified basketball team. It was just the best thing I ever did.
Unified sports are kind of like related to Special Olympics. So it's an opportunity for our kids that are some of our basic life skills kids to compete in sports. They do it with some help from kids that we call partners.
Students that have special needs on IEPs, they're the athletes, and then half the players are partners who do not have disabilities. And the interactions just really made a big difference, not only for the athletes, but for the partners, and really for the whole student body.
I've coached for about 15 years total in my career, and this is definitely different than anything I've ever done. But it's been an awesome challenge, and we get to work with the guys, and we practice maybe 2-3 times a week.
So the athletes are the people doing all the actual scoring. Partners are facilitating play, taking the ball out, getting rebounds, making sure the play keeps going.
I think I'm going to the game tonight.
I've been wanting to play it for a while. I love basketball. I've been trying to play it. Never had a chance to get a chance to play. And finally, I get a chance to play, and actually am playing now, which I love.
What do you think about practice?
Practice is really good. It's helping out a lot of people, and basketball is honestly really fun. You should try it out sometime if you're really interested in basketball. Mr. Best is doing really good. He's a really good coach, and he's a really good teacher.
What do you think about the sport? Easy.
Watching that assembly the other day, the school was just electric about it. And the energy was high. They were all super supportive. I feel like, it really brings everyone together watching these guys play, and it's something the school needs. I heard parents were crying about how cool it was. It was all over social media. It's a big thing. I hear about it in the hallways, people asking when our next game is.
Seeing so many people there, the cheerleaders and the band, it was awesome. One of my students was actually on the unified team. When I saw him working with the other students and helping them and passing the ball up to them and being so supportive, that takes like a really big heart to have the patience but to just kind of act like this is normal, this is the way we do it, and really, really proud to tears.
I don't think I've heard that gym louder than when we were at that assembly. Our student body was fantastic, supportive, positive, and it was a great environment and a great experience for all students involved.
Playing like this sport for the school and everything is super fun, and like you learn a lot of plays and you do a lot of strategy, but like watching them play, they were just playing with heart, so it was cool to watch them just play and have fun.
Heard them talking about how it helped them out realize that we need to just stop looking at ourselves and look at other people in general and make sure that everyone's happy and not just focused on themselves.
I thought it was just super like fun and heartwarming to watch everybody join together and support them and give them a chance to try. Yeah, they all thought it was like so sweet to watch them play, and we thought the signs that everybody else was holding up, especially the freshmen, they had defense and offense signs, and it was just so sweet to watch them support them.
And it was also really cool to see, no matter which team scored, we were all cheering for both of them.
I thought it was really cool to watch these kids who don't normally get a chance to.
Everybody realized how fun of an opportunity it was, and everybody just enjoyed themselves and enjoyed watching the game.
I just think that everyone was really excited.
This is something that we could build on, and I think it was good for the school just in general. I feel like we should have another game like this, and I think it's just good for all of us to go and watch. That's not something you get to see every day.
On 3, 1, 2, 3, Husky!
Do your best. Focus on the game. Have fun.
Hopefully, a couple of them will go on and come back and be special ed teachers maybe, but so the idea is you have to have at least 3 athletes on the floor at all times. So usually there's 3 athletes, 2 partners. The partners are really just passers and helping out athletes. So it's run through the Special Olympics. I have just a couple of handouts here. There's different, so we're just starting, but it's, that's the other thing. Pretty much everything's paid for by the Special Olympics. We got really nice uniforms. What else? Basketballs. I think they pay for 75% of transportation. So everything that we're doing mostly is paid for through Special Olympics. And kind of how Special Olympic raises money is they do a kind of a pull for purpose, polar plunge. Hopefully these are things we can do next year. Like I said, we're just kind of starting. And then the last one is, so there's really a couple of things with unified. There's unified teams, which we're doing. We have a unified basketball team. And then there's unified schools. If you see the last handout, to be a unified school, you have to do unified sports. You have to do inclusive youth leadership. My previous district, we actually did this. The past couple of years, we had 2 athletes off the unified basketball team were actually on the student body school council. Adaptive PE is another thing to be a unified school, so John has started to do that. where half the kids are students with disabilities, and are not necessarily half, but some of the kids are special ed kids, some are non-special ed. But so there's unified sports, and then there's, you can become a unified school. One of the handout kind of lists, and hopefully down the road we'll do some of the things right now. If you look under winter sports, we're doing basketball. I know a couple of the kids want to play softball in the spring, in the fall soccer or something. So I think as we go, we will probably add different things. Nate and I have talked, probably junior high, trying to add it, if not this year, next year. In fact, some schools, kind of the new thing recently is actually starting this at the elementary level and really having, you know, kids get to know other kids that they otherwise wouldn't. When I did it previously, kind of the amazing thing is we had some kids with disabilities that, you know, would eat by themselves in the lunchroom or just, you know, really, you know, spend a lot of time alone. And by the end of the unified basketball, you would see kind of the you know, kind of the popular kids, the National Honor Society kids eating lunch with the unified athletes. And in fact, two of the girls that were partners took two of the boys to prom, and the moms were just, you know, crying that they never thought their kid would go to prom, and they did. So anyway, any questions on unified basketball or unified sports?
How many, I guess, what sort, they had to play against other teams, so how many in the league or?
Yeah, so right now, Philomath, it's really big in Portland, kind of a little bit newer here. Philomath has a team, Newport, Sutherland, so I think we have 7 regular season games and then a couple weeks tournament at Oregon State, so pretty big in Albany, South Albany, and Eugene, and starting to have teams. Willamette now has a team. So it's been really big the past 4 or 5 years. Like I said, it's starting to go down to the, you know, kind of started out as a high school thing, well, really an adult thing, Special Olympics, and then unified sports start in school. But yeah, hopefully soon we even have an elementary.
And what percent of all the students we have in the district that are eligible to compete, what kind of a percentage are we seeing that are actually going out?
Oh, you know, right now the full team is 12, 13 kids. But I think, you know, like Sutherland's been doing it a while, and they now have 3 teams. So I can easily see, you know, adding as we go. You know, in fact, when I started at Elmira, the first time it was kind of hard to get the partners, and it went, you know, so well that the next year everybody wanted to do it. So I actually created an application. They had to apply, we interview, and we still kept it at 1 team, but they had to be selected. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it'd be great to have more than 1 team. So.
See, there's a volunteers page. Is this something that you do need volunteers, or right now we're doing that?
Yeah, I think Special Olympics are always looking for volunteers.
That's the special. What about the?
Yeah, for art, yeah, I mean, we, you know, we always need people to run the clock or, you know, help out anyway.
Is that something that's out there listed on anywhere so that people can sign up?
Yeah, probably not yet, but that's definitely something we could do, yeah.
So not only is Brian doing a great job, but in his job as special services or student services director, he also brought this in. You know, he told me about this quite some time ago. You know, he asked if we would support it. Absolutely, that's golden. You know, everything else, people can. What you look for, you're going to find. I believe that. And so if you ever need to hang your hat on something, doing that for our kids. Those kids that are on there are kids that Mark and I had at the middle school. They'll never forget those. No, and being in uniform, getting announced, coming out, cheerleaders are there, the band's there, the gym is full. I say both sides will know.
Yeah. That's another thing I would say, you know, we talk about test scores, and test scores have different purpose. You know, our kids are so amazing at the assembly game. The Sutherland coach has been doing it for 8 or 9 years. And multiple times after the game, he said, man, you're a student body. You know, not the team, but our student body, he said they were amazing. Yeah, you know, it's kind of what Steve Gordon talks about, right? Like, we can analyze our scores, but we really want to see what we're about. If you had been in the gym, you would be proud of that. It was amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. One brief report from technology. I was talking with our technology director, so under safe and welcoming facilities and service, from our tech director, I asked him, you know, what is something that we've really stepped up this year? What's a significant thing that we've done with technology? And he said, converting to one roster file format for rostering our learning management system and educational technology platforms has proven to be our most significant stride in modernizing the learning environment and enhancing access to cutting-edge technology this year. The adoption of one roster has streamlined the integration of student and teacher data across various platforms, ensuring seamless communication and data synchronization. The standardized format has not only simplified the administrative processes related to rostering, but has also paved the way for a more efficient and dynamic learning ecosystem. Students and educators now benefit from a more cohesive and up-to-date technological infrastructure, fostering a collaborative and digitally enriched educational experience. The move to one roster reflects our commitment to staying at the forefront of educational technology, ultimately empowering both teachers and students in their learning journey. So we're not forgetting the technology. That completes my report.
Thank you, Terry. Next, we have the consent agenda. Approve the minutes from the January 8, 2024 school board meeting and approve the temporary placement of Richard Smithson as the CTE construction teacher at Sweet Home High School for the remainder of the 2023-24 school year, effective January 25, 2024. So moved. Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Budget update, Kevin.
Okay, it's Jason, item 6A in the board packet. Year-to-date spending, we are now 7 months through the fiscal year, and if you compare year-to-date spending this year to the same time period last year, general fund is over $1,018,000. Reasons for that was the higher labor benefit costs that accounts for almost $900,000 of the increase. A portion of that is more filled positions, but we also this year have higher negotiated salaries, wages, and benefits. Charter school payments have also increased over the same time period last year, and liability and property insurance premiums are also up. But when you look at compared to budget, we're still on track to be lower than our budget for this fiscal year. So
I have one question about the line item. Travel. If that's up the reimbursement travel, other than it's not school bus travel.
no, travel is typically for staff travel. It includes going to conferences, and that's probably the biggest charge there. I can even break that down next month for you into more detail.
I'm just curious. I know the IRS just raised the medical fees.
It does include reimbursements for mileage, but most of what shows the travel line item would be like costs for going to a conference, for registration, for lodging, as well as travel.
Thanks, Kevin. We have no action items tonight, and I haven't received any public comments, and I don't see anybody out there who might want to. So we have any board comments?
I just want to, I think something changed when we had our last meeting, and I mentioned, hey, so maybe we can disseminate that information. Something's changed. We're getting a lot more information from the schools. So I don't know if anybody else is seeing that, but I'm getting emails, so thank you very much. Yes. Yep.
Any other comments? All right, so let's take about a 5-minute recess, and then we'll come back into a session for an executive session under ORS 192-6602D to discuss license bargaining and ORS 192-6602B for some legal updates.